Good evening, everyone. I am Arpita Mukherjee, a PhD management scholar, and today my topic would be quality management in healthcare. So here I would be mainly emphasizing on accreditation, the different types of accreditations, how they are being done, and what is their importance, what are their challenges, benefits, all those things. So let's proceed. Healthcare organization. The healthcare organization is a structured entity, whether for profit or not for profit, that delivers healthcare services to individuals or groups. And this organization can range from large hospitals and systems to smaller clinic and practices. They play a crucial role in providing diagnosis, treatment, and care, and are influenced by factors like physical location, service types, and legal requirements. The key characteristics of our healthcare organizations are the structured system, where the healthcare organization are designed with a clear structure and purpose for delivering the services. Next is the service delivery, where they provide a range of healthcare services, including diagnosis, treatment, and rehabilitation. The third is the variety of settings, where these services can be delivered in various settings such as hospitals, clinics, and long-term care facilities. For profit or not for profit. Healthcare organizations can be structured as either for profit business where they make profits and earn money from that, or it can be a not for profit entities where it is mainly for the charitable purposes. Influence of factors. The factors like physical location, type of services offered, the legal regulations impact how these organization operates, etc. And lastly is on the focus on quality. Many healthcare organizations strive to provide high quality care while managing cost effectively. The healthcare organizations can be of different types, such as the hospitals. It can be general hospitals where they look after the treatment of the minor elements, where mostly the MBBS doctors take care of their patients. The specialty hospitals where the specialized doctors are there for different branches of medicine, such as for cardiology, nephro, neuro, etc. So their specialized treatment are being provided to the patients. Teaching hospital are the hospitals where a medical college or a nursing institute or any other paramedical institute is attached with a particular hospital. For example, any medical colleges of the state. Public versus private. The public hospitals are the hospitals which are mainly governed by the government, such as the central government or the state government. And the private hospitals are the hospitals which are governed by the private entities. It could be by an individual person or can be by a group of persons. It can be profitable or it can be non-profitable or charitable. Clinics and medical offices. Primary care clinics, mostly it is seen in the rural areas or and the second is the specialized clinics. Next is the mental health and addiction treatment centers, where we can see inpatient facilities and outpatient facilities. Inpatient facilities are the facility where the patients can stay in the hospital for a few days. And outpatient facilities are the facilities where the patient comes, sees his doctors, gets the treatment done, and goes back to his or her own home on the same day. The healthcare organization and the other healthcare organizations are nursing homes, rehabilitation centers, dialysis centers, diagnosis centers, and many more. The quality in healthcare refers to the extent to which healthcare services for individual and population increases the likelihood of the desired health outcomes and are consistent with current professional knowledge. Equality is the ongoing process of building and sustaining relationship by assessing, anticipating, and fulfilling stated and implied need. It is a continuous process of fulfilling the customer's expectations each and every time. So quality in healthcare. It is a key aspect of healthcare encompassing multiple dimensions, including effectiveness, safety, person-centeredness, timeliness, equity, integrity, efficiency, and value for money. Uh, So the different importance of healthcare are the improved health outcomes. So the quality care leads to better health outcomes, reduces the morbidity and mortality rate, and increase patient satisfaction. Next is the reduced healthcare cost. Here, by preventing unnecessary care and minimizing the errors, quality improvement efforts can reduce healthcare cost. Third, enhanced patient safety. Prioritizing quality in healthcare is crucial for ensuring patient safety and minimizing the risk of harm. Increased efficiency. Well, the quality improvement initiatives can streamline processes and improve efficiency in healthcare delivery. Last, the positive impact on population health. So, in the addressing health disparities and promoting equitable access to quality care can improve population health outcomes. Accreditation. Healthcare accreditation is a process where organizations like hospital and clinics are evaluated against established quality and safety standards. This evaluation aims to ensure the accreditation meets specific criteria, providing assurance to patient and stakeholders that care is of high standard. Accreditation is often seen as a mark of quality and can enhance trust in an organization's services. Accreditation may be defined as a formal process by which a recognized body, usually a non-governmental organization, assesses and recognizes that a healthcare organization meets predetermined standards. It can also be defined as a system of external peer review of an organization for determining compliance against predetermined standards. There are different key aspects of healthcare accreditation, such as the standards and criteria, where the accreditation bodies like NABH establishes a set of standards that organizations must meet. These standards cover various aspects of healthcare delivery, including patient safety, quality of care, infection control, and patients' right. Next key aspect is the self-assessment and external review, where the process typically involves the organization self-assessing their compliance with the standards, followed by an external peer review by accredited assessors. Next is the continuous improvement, where the accreditation is not a one-time event, but rather a continuous process of improvement, with organizations regularly assessed and evaluated to maintain their accreditation. The benefits for organization. Achieving accreditation can lead to increased patient trust, enhanced reputation, improved quality of care, and financial benefits, as some insurance agencies may prioritize accredited facilities. And benefits for the patient. Accreditation provides patients with assurance that the organization is committed to quality and safety, reducing the risk of errors and adverse events. Types of accreditation. So here we can see that there is national accreditation and international accreditation. National accreditation are the accreditations that are given by the Indian agencies, such as NABH, NABL. These are the national accreditation bodies. International accreditation, when any international organization gives accreditation to Indian healthcare organization, then it becomes an internationally accredited body. For example, JCI. JCI is an international accreditation organization which gives accreditation to many hospitals or healthcare organizations in India. Next is the accreditation system in India. In India, we generally follow the Quality Council of India, the QCI, which is the which has been established to create a mechanism for independent third party assessment of products, services, and process. It plays a pivotal role at the national level in propagating adoption and adherence of the quality. standards in all important spheres of activities, including education, healthcare, environment protection, governance, social sectors, infrastructure sector, and such other areas of organized activities that have significant bearings in improving the quality of life and well-being of citizens of India. The QCI is a national body which takes care of all the different sectors in India. That means that it includes the manufacturing and the service industry, along with the educational or the environment and the governmental factors. In India, for the healthcare, we have NABL. NABL is the national accreditation body, which mainly looks after the accreditation of the laboratories and the um, calibration centers. So here there are different schemes under NABL, which we would be looking after. So soil testing, lab accreditation and recognition schemes, where they accredit schemes as per ISO or IEC 17025, and it also accreditates the testing laboratories, calibration labs, medical labs, PTP, RMP, etc. It accreditates sample collection facility schemes, blockchain certification, authentication systems, government block level or subdivisional level drinking water testing laboratory schemes, medical entry level testing lab programs, product-based accreditation schemes, accreditation for testing, calibration, and medical testing laboratories, proficiency testing providers, and reference material providers, etc. For NABH also has different accreditation schemes. It accreditates the hospitals, it accreditates the small healthcare organizations, it accreditates the blood bank, blood storage centers, medical imaging services, dental healthcare services, oral substitute therapies, allopathic clinics, Ayush hospitals, community health centers, primary health care centers, wellness centers, clinical trials, Panchakarma, eye care organizations, integrated rehabilitation centers for addictions and addicted schemes, etc. So coming on to the NABL. As we all know, NABL is the National Accreditation Board of Testing and Calibration Laboratories. It is an accredited body with its accreditation system established in accordance with the ISO or IEC 17011. For the conformity assessment requirement of the accreditation bodies, accrediting conformity assessment bodies, NABL provides voluntary accreditation services to testing laboratories in accordance with the ISO or IC 17025 for the general requirement for the competency of testing and calibration of the laboratories. For medical testing laboratories in accordance with the ISO 15189 with the medical laboratories requirement for quality uh, for the competence. Proficiency testing providers in accordance with the ISO or IEC 17043, conformity assessment and the general requirement for proficiency testing, and reference material producers in accordance with the ISO 17034, general requirements for the competency or reference material producers. Biobanks in accordance with the ISO 20387, biotechnology biobanking general requirements for biobanking. Next is the NABH. NABH is a national accreditation body or board for hospitals and healthcare providers. It is a constituent board of Quality Council of India set up to establish and operate accreditation programs of healthcare organization. The board is structured to cater to much desired needs of the consumer to set benchmarks for progress of health industry. The board, while being supported by all stakeholders, including industry, consumers, government, have full functional autonomy in its operation. NABH is internationally accredited by ISQA and ASQA. NABH was established in 2005 to create accreditation program for hospital and healthcare organizations in India and to bring a standardization in the healthcare systems, with the goal to improving the patient safety and overall healthcare quality. The first accreditation program hospital accreditation was launched in 2006, and that time it followed the first edition of NABH. And currently we are having NABH 6th edition with 10 chapters, 100 standards, and 639 objective elements. The vision of the NABH is to be the apex national healthcare accreditation and quality improvement body, functioning at par with global benchmarks. The mission of NABH is to operate accreditation and allied programs in collaboration with the stakeholders, focusing on patient safety and quality of healthcare based upon national and international standards through process of self and external evaluations. It has different values that it follows, such as the credibility. It provides credible and valuable addition services. It is responsiveness, willingness to listen and continuously improve in its services, transparency, openness in communication, and freedom of information to its stakeholders, and innovations incorporating changes, creativity, continuous learning, and new ideas to improve and services being provided. The different objectives of NABH are that the accreditation for healthcare facilities are the quality promotion. It initiates like nursing excellence, laboratory certification programs, etc. IEC activities where public lecture, advertisement, workshops, seminars, education and training for the quality and patient safety, etc. are being provided, and recognition. Endorsement of various healthcare quality courses and workshops are being provided to different staffs or people's interested to do it. If we see NABH as an overview, then we would see that NABH 6th edition is having total 10 chapters. These 10 chapters are being divided into two parts. The first part is for the patient-centric. So here, the first 5 chapters mainly focuses on the patient betterment, patient better care, and all the chapters are related to the patients. So here the first chapter is access, assessment, and continuity of care. This chapter focuses on ensuring equitable access to care, proper assessment of patient's need, and continuity of care throughout the patient's journey. The second chapter deals with the care of the patients. Here in the care of this patient, this chapter addresses the quality and safety of the patient care, encompassing clinical protocols, nursing cares, and the provision of specialized services like ICU, emergency, and obstetric cares. The third chapter is management of medication. Here, this chapter focuses on the safe and effective management of medications, including prescribing, dispensing, and administration practices. The fourth chapter is patient right and education. This chapter emphasizes patients' right, privacy, confidentiality, and informed consent, as well as patients' education and empowerment. The fifth chapter is infection prevention and control. This chapter addresses the prevention and control of healthcare associated infection, ensuring a safe environment for patient and staff. The last 5 chapters are organization centric, where how the organization can make itself a better place for its patient and staffs. So the sixth chapter is the patient safety and quality improvement. Here, this chapter focuses on creating a culture of safety and continuous quality improvement, including risk management, incident reporting, and performance monitoring. The seventh chapter is responsibility of management. Here, this chapter outlines the responsibility of the hospital management in establishing and maintaining a safe and effective healthcare environment. The eighth chapter is for the facility management and safety. This chapter addresses the physical environment, safety measures, and maintenance of hospital facility, ensuring a safe and functional workplace. The ninth chapter is for the human resource management. In this chapter, it focuses on the recruitment, training, and professional development of healthcare professionals, ensuring a competent workforce. The 10th chapter is Information Management System. This chapter emphasizes the improvement of accurate and timely information management, including in electronic health records and data analytics. Here in NABH, before we move to ISPA, I would like to mention few things. That is, when we go for accreditation, accreditation has a few standards and objective elements that needs to be followed. But when we are following these standards and objective element, if due to any reason we are unable to compile by the standards, or there is error or any mishappening, then that has to be reported properly. And the other most important thing is everything should be documented. If anything is not documented, that means that work has not been done. So documentation is a very important process for the accreditation part while we following the standards and the objective elements. And whenever there is any mishappening or any incident that has occurred in a healthcare organization, it has to be reported in a proper manner. All the details should be mentioned, and our prime goal is to rectify the process and not to punish the individuals. So the main goal of NABH or for any accreditation system is to rectify the process for the betterment of the patient and the staffs who are working in that particular area. Moving on to the ISQA. ISQA is a member-based not-for-profit community and organization dedicated to promote quality improvement in healthcare. They have been working to improve the quality and safety of healthcare worldwide for over 30 years. They aim to achieve their goals through education, knowledge sharing, external evaluation, supporting health system worldwide, and connecting like-minded people through the healthcare networks. It has an extensive network of healthcare professionals span over 70 countries and 6 continents. ISQA members are continually working towards quality improvement in healthcare around the world. Their motto for any healthcare organization is to do their job and continually improve. International accreditation. International accreditation programs like the Joint Commission International (JCI) and the Global Healthcare Accreditation (GHA) assesses hospital against international standards of quality and patient safety. These accreditations international demonstrates a hospital's commitment to excellence and can enhance its reputation and attract patients. The key international hospital accreditation programs are the Joint Commission of International or JCI. JCI is a global accrediting body that provides a gold seal for approval for healthcare organizations worldwide. They assess hospitals against a wide range of standards, including patient safety, infection control, and quality improvement. Next is the Global Healthcare Accreditation or the GHA. The GHA focuses on accrediting healthcare organizations that cater to international patients, ensuring they meet rigorous standards for safety, transparency, and patient experience. Next is the Australian Council of Healthcare Standards. This accreditation organization focuses on improving patient safety and quality of care through various standards and assessments. There are other international accreditation bodies as well, such as the Accreditation Commission for Healthcare, the American Accreditation Commission International, etc. Whenever a healthcare organization gets internationally accredited, it provides a benchmarking for the other healthcare organization as well. It helps in better patient care, patient safety, as well as it fetches the international patients as well, because here they follow the international standards. So the international patients can also come and get their treatment done. So it helps in medical tourism also. The international accreditations, the benefits of it are the enhanced reputation. Accreditation demonstrates a hospital's commitment to quality and safety, building trust with patients and other stakeholders. Next benefit is the attraction of the patients. So accreditation can attract international patients seeking high quality health care. The third benefit is improved patient care, where the accreditation process encourages continuous improvements in patient care process and outcomes, and the compliance with these standards. So the accreditation ensures that hospitals adhere to international standards, improving efficiency and reduces the risk. So there are different steps for the accreditation. First, the application and the eligibility. So first, we have to go to the accreditation site, whichever organization we are going for. So we have to go to the particular site and we have to apply. While we are applying for the accreditation, we have to fill in the basic details of our organization, and whatever the informations are required, we have to put in the information. Next, the eligibility criteria are being set. If we fulfill the eligibility criteria, then we can get the self-study and documentations. This helps in uh, undergoing the internal assessment process, where based on these documents or the standards or the objective elements, we do an internal assessment, where we see where our organization lands, and then we try to rectify or do the NCs that we are not able to follow. Once we have done our internal assessment and submitted the copies and the documents on their site, then we will get a on-site date, and the external assessors will come and visit our organization, and they will give their own review for the organization. If we have fulfilled all the standards and the objective elements, then the decision would be for us, and we would get the certification. If there is any NCs, then we would be intimated about it. We would be given a particular time. Based on that time limit, we have to rectify ourselves and submit the corrections that we have made, and then they will decide whether they would give us the accreditation certificate or not. If we have got the accreditation certificate, we will continue our improvement cycle, and the follow-ups will be there. And after, if it is full accreditation, then after 4 years, again, we have to go for the next accreditation process. When we are saying that we are going for the accreditation, especially for the NABH purposes, NABH has two accreditation. One is for the entry level and other is for the full accreditation. Entry level gives some relaxation to the hospitals for the first time when they are going for the accreditation. So we go for the entry level. Once entry level is done, we have successfully implemented the quality standards in our organization, then we can go for the full accreditation. So before I end up my presentation, I would like to do sum up the PPT. So the accreditation is a crucial process in healthcare globally because it ensures quality, safety, and continuous improvement in healthcare delivery. It establishes standards, promotes accountability, and builds trust among patients and stakeholders. Quality assurance, the accreditation process are designed to verify that the healthcare organization meets predetermined standards, ensuring a consistent level of care and safety. For the patient safety, accreditation focuses on patient safety, implementing protocols to reduce risk and improve outcomes, ultimately benefiting the patients directly. The public trust and confidence, the healthcare organization that achieve accreditation are recognized for their commitment to excellence, which fosters public trust and confidence in their services. Regulatory compliance, accreditation often serves as a benchmark for regulatory compliance, helping healthcare organizations meet national and international standards. For the continuous improvement, the accreditation process encourages healthcare organizations to continuously assess their performance, identify areas for improvement, and implement changes to enhance quality. International recognition, accreditation can enhance a country's reputation as a destination for medical tourism, drawing patients from other countries who seek high quality, affordable healthcare. For the professional development, accreditation provides opportunities for healthcare professionals to learn, stay informed about best practices, and improve their skills. And the financial benefit, some health insurance companies may offer high reimbursement rates to accredited healthcare organizations, potentially leading to increased revenue for the institutions. This is all about accreditation, but before I end my presentation, a small few tips that I would like to share with you all is that for the quality is not a static process. It is a continuous improvement process where we use different kind of quality tools that help us in improving our organization, such as the fishbone diagram, the Pareto chart, the questionnaires that we use, the feedbacks forms that we use, the scatter diagrams, the bar graphs. All these helps in the quality. All these quality tools helps us in improving the quality of our healthcare organization. And as we know that accreditation is a voluntary process, it is not a compulsory thing, but if we go for accreditation, it will improve our hospital's standards and help us in getting a benchmark for our institute. So that's all for my today's presentation. Thank you for hearing me out.